Well, hello everybody. Welcome back to the channel. This is Lunar Goddess Tarot. I'm Sarah and I'll be your intuitive guide and your reader today. Many of you are feeling the energies ramping up of this solar eclipse new moon in Sagittarius. Sagittarius is a fire sign, and the house that Sagittarius sits in rules higher education, international travel, culture, different cultures, experiencing different cultures, different places, different experiences. It really, Sag is ruled by Jupiter, so it's a planet of expansion, and Jupiter is expansion, and I call Jupiter my Midas touch or my golden touch planet. Everything that Jupiter touches expands on. So keep that in mind, that where this falls in your chart, and you'll take your rising sign, and that's your first house. And from there, you'll be able to find which house. You just go through the houses to find which house Sagittarius is in for you. For me, I'm Scorpio. Now, if I was Scorpio rising, it would be in my second house. I don't know why I just use myself as an example, because I'm Cancer rising, so I actually don't know what house this is in. I have to go through and figure that out. But it's your rising sign, not your sun sign, and that is considered your first house. And then from there, you can find out and do some research on which house this eclipse is falling in for you. And this will signify major endings, major cycles ending. This is more significant, I feel, than the lunar eclipse that we had in the sign of Taurus a few weeks back. So I wanted to do a reading here for you guys, a special reading here, using the Syrian Starseed Tarot, the Hero's Journey Oracle, the Moonology deck, and I pulled out one of my favorites, the Spirit of the Animals Oracle. And what I wanted to do is I wanted to dig a little deeper into what this eclipse is closing out, what cycle we are leaving behind, what cycle we are moving into, and why it is that many of you are feeling this death energy, kind of pervasive death energy. So we're going to be talking all about that today. If you would, please give the video a like and share and subscribe. This is how I organically grow my channel, and how others who really can use this information are able to find me and able to find my teachings and my videos, and it's much, much appreciated. To all of my moderators, you guys are amazing. Thank you so much, and thank you for supporting one another. I see it in the live chat. It's really beautiful. If you guys want more information, you can go over and check out my Patreon and see if that's something that you would like to be a part of. You can support me in that way. There's 3 different tiers. And sometime this weekend, I can't guarantee when, but I will be posting about this solar eclipse and this new moon in Sagittarius, because it is the last in a series of Sagittarius Gemini eclipse cycles. It's very significant, and we're closing out about 18 months worth of energy and experiences, relationships and mindsets and beliefs and all of that. So it kind of encompasses the entire time we've been in this, I'm not going to use the word, but we've been in this experience that the world is having. You guys know exactly what I'm talking about. And so it's interesting, right? So you want to go back to 18 months ago and see all that has changed and shifted within you, because parts of us are dying right now. Parts of us are leaving us. Mindsets are leaving us. The ego is being shed more and more every single day. A lot of you guys are experiencing physical symptoms, and I'll talk about that over on the Patreon post. And guys, when you join up for Patreon, just keep in mind that there are different tiers. I always will write in the description box, or excuse me, I will write in the community tab when I post about a new post that I've created for you guys. You'll be able to look at the bottom and you'll see which tier that post is available for, because not all posts are available to every tier. So just keep that in mind. And we are going to get started. And thank you guys for all of your support over on Patreon. Also, I am in awe of the support, and I'm all about quality, not quantity. So I may not post 1,800 posts a month, or I may post 4 a month, I may post 2 a month, I may post 10 a month. One month I posted 12 or 14, but it's going to, they're going to be high quality posts. They're well thought out, they're intentional posts. And I share things with you when I'm guided to, not because I want to meet a certain quota. So please keep that in mind, that it's quality that you're getting. It's downloaded and channeled information from my guides, from my higher self. And from my experiences, and I want you guys to understand that. So if you're looking for certain quotas, you know, for me to meet, I won't be that person, but I promise you that when I do post, it's intentional and it's with my highest energy that I can put into that post. And when you read them, you'll feel that, and you'll know that, as other people have commented. So thank you so much for all of your support here and over there. And if everyone, even if you've just watched one video or liked one video, all of that is supporting me. Even the people that dislike the video, that supports my channel. So thank you to all of those people. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to set these decks aside. We're actually going to start with the Spirit of the Animals Oracle. This one has really been calling to me this morning. I was going about my morning routine, which is quite extensive. I take care of, I help take care of a lot of animals. As you guys know, animals, fostering animals, and just taking care of kitties. And I'm very, very connected to kitty cats. And so my mornings are really consumed a lot of times with that, but I'm trying to be more intentional about my own routine and getting sunshine in the morning. And one thing you can do, guys, in the morning is stay off your phone or devices, at least your phone, for a good hour, and wake up, go outside, pet your pets, you know, have your coffee, have your shower, whatever it might be, yoga, meditation, and turn on your phone and check your emails later. They can wait, I promise. I promise. We're getting away from that workaholic, you know, those workaholic tendencies that we have here, you know, as Americans and in other cultures as well. Japan is another country that is very addicted to working, and we're getting away from that. Humanity is going to go back to this place of wanting to, it's going to come back to community-based sharing, community-based like sharing of food, sharing of home, sharing of child rearing, sharing of food. I think I said that already. Sharing of stories and hardships, and it's going to be more of, we can lean on our neighbors versus everyone locks themselves up and nobody talks to their neighbors, and kind of the culture that we've created. Everyone works too hard. There's no time. We're really getting away from that. And if you notice that through this past, you know, nearly 2 years here, about 18 months, interestingly enough, through all of this experience that we've been having, this experiment, if you will, social experiment, as I'll call it, people have been working from home more and more. There's a reason for that, okay? Good things are coming. Just know that they're, you know, the light and the dark are existing simultaneously, and everything is calculated, everything is going as planned, and there's nothing to fear. You know who you are inside of you. You know your soul, and just hold tight to that, my loves. Hold tight to that, okay? You know why you're here. Have some quiet time. It doesn't have to be silent meditation. It can be guided meditation. It can be yoga, tai chi. It can be walking in nature, meditative walking, meditative washing of the dishes. I meditate in the shower. That's kind of my place where I meditate, and I, you know, talk to my counterpart, I talk to my guides, I talk to my higher self, and I work things out. Also, I'm going to start pulling the cards soon, I promise. But also, I have dreamt of about 5 celebrities this year. I just dreamt of 2 in the past week. This past week, it was Jonah Hill and Keanu Reeves. Very interesting. Sometimes I'm romantically involved with them, sometimes I'm not, but they're coming to me in my dreams, these masculines, not feminines, the masculines. So I can only surmise that these are celebrities who are going to stand up and are going to, and I know Keanu is very much under, I mean, he created the movie The Matrix, so he's very aware. He's a very highly intelligent man. He's a starseed. And Jonah Hill is actually, you know, you might look at him and think he's weird or he's different. He is. He's also a starseed. And so these are celebrities I feel that are going to be leading the way and are going to surprise us in the coming years, okay? All right, so we have Grizzly Bear, Power, and Wolf Pathfinder. So let me sit with these for a minute because I'm going to read into the masculine Yeah, okay. The masculine energy is in the energy of the grizzly bear. The feminine is in the energy of the wolf, the pathfinder. She is actually the one who's leading the way, who is full of the light and full of, therefore, the directions, the GPS. And she is the one who is releasing the past and starting fresh and starting over. This is why it feels like a death. I'm not saying the masculines aren't feeling this either. They're feeling this as in the situations that they committed to, okay? The partners they may have committed to, who they may have quote unquote chosen over the feminine, the jobs they chose, the money they were pursuing, all of these things that are tangible in the physical reality but not tangible in the spiritual realm. They're realizing, you know what, I made the wrong choice, okay? I made the wrong choice. And the feminine's like, too little, too late. I am not waiting. I can't wait around any longer for excuses or reasons, or I'm just saying this is how she's feeling. I'm not saying this is the truth of the connection or the truth of the divine masculine. I'm just saying this is how the feminine's perceiving it. Many of you have shared your stories and expressed your sentiments this past week or two with me. So this is a collective energy of like, I have to go on my way. I have mission. And it's like you can no longer be deterred or let obstacles get in your way, divine feminine. You know that you're a teacher, and as you find your way, you're helping others find their way. And as you notice, I tend to subtly shift my teachings. You'll notice that. I haven't done any DM messages these past few readings because I'm just simply not guided to. And I'm not saying that I won't be guided to in the future, and I won't be guided to maybe later today, I don't know. But this is what I mean when I say my posts are intentional, my videos are intentional. It's never about a quota, because if it were, you guys would be able to tell. It wouldn't be authentic. It wouldn't be real. It wouldn't be raw. And I would burn myself out. I also am a teacher and a guide, and primarily I want to start expanding my base to include all light workers and starseeds and people on the ascension path, and not just someone who identifies as a twin soul, because again, that label is falling away. And this is what I'm getting with this, is a label is falling away, and the feminine's going, I just know that I have to find my pack and my tribe. So a lot of feminines are going to be moving, relocating. And this came up, I believe, in one of the previous readings I did over the past few days, where the feminine is like, you know what, something new, a fresh house, a new house. I'm actually considering, as is Holly, buying an RV or, something. I mean, what I have in mind is a really fancy one. So that might come a few years later, but wanting, it's good to dream, right? It's good to have that intention and set that manifestation. But, it feels almost safer to be able to have a mobile home in a sense. And so, of course, there's things to figure out with that. But we're both considering that, and we both are feeling drawn to the mountains. We're both in a very tropical climate right now and a tropical area, and now we're being drawn to the mountains. And so I really feel like a lot of you will be following this vision and this dream. And I don't know how this will play out, and we have to detach from the how. And I'm telling myself that as I'm sharing that with you, because you're going to be led by your soul, okay? You're such a loving soul, divine feminine, that you love fiercely, but you're also learning how to let go just as fiercely, and how to detach. And I know, personally speaking, that all of you who are in the coaching group understand my trials and my tribulations. And in the Patreon group, I've shared as well. I share more intimately in those groups. And I've shared a lot of my story on Patreon, actually, in different posts, not in every post. But I share so that you guys feel less alone, and you understand that I'm walking this path with you. I'm not ahead of you. You're not behind me. I am right alongside with you. And that's the sign of a true teacher. And that's why I share Kyle Cease's teachings, because he is so humble, and he shares from the perspective of, I'm going through this with you guys, Some of us are called to be healers. Some of us are called to be teachers. Some of us are called to be economists. Some of us are called to be lawyers, doctors, whatever it might be, shamans. But in whatever way, if you're called to be a teacher, and interestingly enough, my mom's a retired kindergarten teacher, so it's in my blood. when you're called to be a teacher, you just know that you have to teach, but there's a humbling that comes with that, as realizing I'm going through all of this with my people, with my family and my tribe that I am teaching, okay? So I understand that and I respect that. And we are all persevering, guys. We are all in those boats rafting along together, okay? Nobody is ahead or behind. That's not what this is about. Everyone is climbing towards ascension on the planet right now, whether they're denying it, and there are still many deniers, whether they are secretly embracing it but publicly denying it, which a lot of people are doing. A lot of masculines are doing that, actually, I feel. And it's about power for the masculine. Yeah, I just got that downloaded. So those masculines who are like publicly denying it but secretly embodying it and understanding they may have made some poor choices in their lives, especially over the past year and a half. A lot of those masculines are starting to awaken, because when I see grizzly bear, I think awakening from the hibernation, okay? Awakening from the slumber and realizing that, oh my God, I was asleep. And the feminine's like, she knows exactly what she wants and she's going after it. Look at that look in her eyes. I know who I am. I know what I deserve and what I want. And she's set up those boundaries and she is not budging. She is not going backwards. Many times, feminine, oftentimes in your past, you went backwards. You allowed people to cross your boundaries. You, in relationships, whether it was with men or women, doesn't matter. You allowed those people to trample over you. You allowed them to treat you in such a way that you questioned your self-worth. You might have allowed abuse. And the feminine, when the masculine started to display some of these tendencies, narcissistic programming that was playing out, because the masculines were in narcissistic programming. So were the feminines, by the way. The feminines were in that a few years back, and the feminines have stepped out of that. The masculines have been going through that, which is why it might have felt like your masculine was not compassionate or empathetic at all. Couldn't see your point of view, couldn't understand how they were hurting you when it was so incredibly obvious to you. And so it was about power and control, and the masculine thought this was a game, because love had always been a game for the masculine to, okay, who has the upper hand? And the feminine finally said, fine, you know what? You want the upper hand? Take it. I don't care. It's not a game to me. This is my heart. I love deeply. I love passionately. And I'm going to share my love with whomever decides to receive it, whoever can receive it with grace. I'm not going to share it freely and have it be trampled on. I will choose to love you from afar. I will wish for your well-being. I will wish for you to heal, but I am no longer going to be the person that you trample on when things are not going well for you. I will not be the person you call when something goes wrong. And so understanding that there have been challenges along the path, but the feminine, you've conquered all of them with your inner strength and your perseverance. And the masculine is here thinking he was indestructible. He also thought that this connection was indestructible and that there was no way the feminine would ever walk away. There was no way, because she was always there until one day she wasn't, okay? So he's waking up from this slumber, this hibernation, he was asleep. He was spiritually asleep, and he's waking up realizing, I really fucked up, okay? I had the wrong things as priorities. And the feminine, again, has gone through this too, by the way. Feminine has gone through this as well. I cared about the wrong things. Life is short and precious, and we don't know how long we have on this planet, in this physical body, in this form, as the person we identify with at this present time, okay? We don't know. He's starting to realize that. And he realizes, I'm not indestructible. That was my ego, okay? He's starting to be led by his intuition. You know, when the bear hunts, it's by intuition. It's by sensing, okay, the prey. And he wants to succeed. he doesn't want to fail. This is big for the masculines, but he has to come from that place, not of ego, of like, I won't fail, but it has to come from a place of love. It has to come from a different place than it's come in the past. Because in the past, he hasn't wanted to fail because he didn't want to disappoint anyone. He didn't want to be perceived as a failure. He couldn't handle it. His ego was that fragile. And now it has to come from a place of, I won't give up because I know this is my path. And I know that I need to find a way to make things right with this person. He's starting to realize that there's a mission, that there is something to be accomplished with the feminine on this planet in this lifetime. And he's starting to realize that the feminine is going to pursue this with or without him. And the more time that passes, the more time that the masculine waits to speak the truth that he has been experiencing in the silence behind closed doors. He's not sharing this with his karmic family or friends or partner or his coworkers. He's not sharing any of this, but he's going about his day, going to work, going through the motions. Remember, as I've said, a lot of masculines traveled for work. That was because they couldn't face themselves. They couldn't face their traumas. A lot of them were addicted to alcohol. Okay? A lot of them have had substance abuse issues. And some of them have even had food addiction or bulimia, anorexia. Okay? Believe it or not, yes, a male masculine can have bulimia and anorexia. It's not just something that happens to women. So these masculines have used food and alcohol and substance and drugs and gambling, etc., sex as a way to control situations and people and their emotions. But one thing that they realized is with the feminine, they couldn't control the way they felt. It was very troubling to them, which is why they've run so many times. The feminine is no longer chasing. The wolf doesn't chase. The wolf is pursued. And the grizzly bear energy here is about being led by your heart and not allowing your mind to lead you astray and tell you stories of, the masculine has been battling this insecurity, I'm not good enough, self-worth issue. So that's something they're working on as well. But you have to let go of this idea, masculine, that no matter what, your feminine's going to be there, because many feminines are or will meet higher level soulmates that want to walk this journey with them, that are ready and willing to walk this journey with them. And the masculine has to really ask themselves, they really have to ask themselves, if I really want this person, and I know that I'm going to be miserable if I let them go, then what can I do to make this right? Because in the past, the masculine might have told you, oh, I just want you to be happy, even if it's with someone else, you deserve better. They might have said a variety of things. They're no longer singing that tune because they're realizing that you actually took that advice and you went out and started meeting people and you went out and put yourself out there because you were just so tired of the endless cycles. You were tired of trying to fight for something that you were the only one fighting for it. So, masculine, be careful what you wish for. So I feel for many feminines, very interesting. The commitment to this journey into the masculine is being tested. Yes, I know you guys are feeling this. So your commitment to the journey. Now, what happens if you choose a higher level soulmate? Does that mean you're not committed? Does that mean you've failed, you've disappointed? No. It just means you chose what you chose. There's not a wrong choice here, guys. There's not they're not a real twin because they're not with their masculine or feminine. This is, I choose the highest love available and possible for me at this time, whatever that might be. Being alone for some of you, being with a higher level soulmate for some of you, maybe a kindred spirit. It might be dedicating your time, volunteering your time. There can be many ways in which this shows up. It does not have to be just confined to I'm with my twin flame. Because in all truth and spiritual truth, you're never separate from your twin flame. There is no separation. There is no union. There is just you. You are your twin flame. And that's so hard to wrap your mind around. But if you can wrap your mind around that, or forget the mind. If you just can understand that at a soul level, then you can understand that there is no losing your twin flame. There is no failure. There's no competition here, guys. Do what makes you happy. Do what fills you up with joy and love. Allow yourself to gravitate towards and be attracted to and magnetized to the things that bring you joy, the things that lift you higher, whatever that might be. So yeah, if your commitment is being tested, what are you committing yourself to? Your truth? Then let that be so, and let that play out how it needs to play out. Don't make yourself feel guilty. One of the things the feminine is grappling with right now is guilt. Don't make yourself feel guilty because you are on a different path, or your path looks different than everyone else's. Okay? And it's interesting, for the masculine, they got a new moon, which is today, and a fresh start is coming. So then it's either today or tomorrow. I read it was today, and then I read it was tomorrow. So I was a little confused, but it is this weekend. Maybe it's tonight, which would be like the 3rd, the 4th. Anyway, depending on where you are on the planet also. Because I know I have followers in Canada, Australia, New Zealand, India, and various places. So what I want to say is, for the masculine, that there is a new start that's available to you if you can allow things that need to be eclipsed out to be eclipsed out. You have to allow that to happen. You have to be willing to allow that to occur, masculine. Are you willing to allow that to occur, or are you going to just stay stuck? It really is up to you. This is beautiful energy, beautiful magical energy here. And this is what's going to actually open up the lines of communication in whatever form that might be. 3D, 5D, 4D, dream state. With the counterpart, because the feminine is not really wanting to communicate with you right now. Feminine is some of you are feeling apathetic. Some of you are just feeling completely over it. Some of you are committing to soulmates. Some of you are committing to being alone. Some of you are just spending time with family, committing to yourself. You see what I'm saying? There's many different ways this story can play out. What the planet needs is inner union. It's not physical outer union that is going to lift the planet up into a higher vibration. It's inner union, guys. It's inner union. Every soul coming into union with oneself. Now let that sink in, because the ego wants to push that away. No, it has to be physical union. It's hard to let go of that. I know. It's painful, right? It's a painful process to think maybe physical union isn't what I really need right now or in this lifetime. Maybe I just need to work on myself. The more you turn inward, the irony is you can have that physical union. You can experience that with that physical manifestation of the divine masculine or divine feminine. However, if you don't put yourself first, that's never going to happen. Because what the planet needs is not physical union without spiritual union. The planet needs everyone in inner union. That's what brings about oneness. That's what ends separation. Separation through what? Through religion, through culture, through belief systems, through skin color, through sexual identity, through whatever it might be. We look at people with physical or mental, I don't like the word disability, special abilities differently. Why? We're all the same inside. Why do we do that? Because we've been trained to do that by society. Because we've been taught that. We are not born like that. We're not born to hate. We're not born to want to separate ourselves. Children, just like animals, they just accept. Children are accepting. They don't know any different. They don't give a shit about skin color or culture or religion or sexual preference or identity. They don't care. They just love. And that's who we are at our core, is love. That's what we're moving back towards. But we've had a lot of resistance. There are some people on this planet who will not survive the ascension. They just won't. okay? They won't. And I'm not the first teacher to say this. There's some people that can't handle it, that are in full and complete resistance, and they won't make it. And that's okay. So let's get a card here. This is turning out to be a very intense reading. This solar eclipse to me is very clarifying. It's allowing me to deliver a very clear reading, clear messages, clear teachings. This is why I read when I'm called to read, not just for the hell of it. Judgment. 3 of Pentacles. Yeah. Judgment Day is coming. Judgment Day is coming. That's what I was just talking about. Is I was talking about this energy, right, of going back to who we truly are and what we truly are, which is pure love. So how do we do that? Well, go through a Judgment Day, a judgment process. The cleansing and clearing of humanity, of our belief systems, any perceived separation. Karma is not a punisher by nature. Karma is a teacher. When we've gone through cycles of abuse, or cycles of like, I can't get out of this, cycles of abandonment, or cycles of poverty, or whatever it might be, like, I can't get out of this. Why? I'm being punished. It's teaching you. You're just not listening. You're not available for the teaching. And then one day you're like, I've had enough. I've had enough of my own shit. I've had enough of this. That's when the wake-up call happens. You go through the dark night of the soul, you shift, you change, and that's what the masculines are going through right now. It's not a pleasant process. It's not. They do want to work together, however. And this is also about humanity coming together, like I was talking about, as a community, coming together to make these changes. And there's some, with the pentacles here, the crystals, clarity. Clarity comes from working together. There's a Trinity energy here. The Trinity energy is associated with God. It's associated with God himself. And those of you who believe, understand that God is watching all of this transpire and all of this happen. He is with us. He's not separate from what is happening. He's a part of this. He knows. And there's a doorway, right? Humanity can choose to walk through. We can do this together. The masculine, the feminine, and God. Together. Inner union, guys. The key to everything. It's the key to the house. It's the key to the shift for this planet. So if you can take your mind off of needing that outer union, I'm telling you, your happiness quotient will shift and change. You have to be willing to come at this from a position of not needing the physical person to complete you or to be happy, but completing yourself, finding the strength and courage within yourself to move forward with or without that person in your physical path, because they're never actually separate from you. So we have here the Knight of Swords. In this deck, it's orbs. There's a sense of clarity. We know that with a Knight of Swords, there is a sense of truth being spoken, being witnessed. There's like a vision of the future here also. There's a vision of the future. You see this kind of crystal ball, and he's on his horse. He's got his sword, he's on his horse, and he's seeing the possibilities and the potential. So this knight is, again, this is the masculine energy of like, I see that there is potential here. And so there's potential for major change for the masculines if they're willing to step into that change and be a co-creator. Are they willing to co-create with the universe? That's really the question. Are you willing to co-create with the universe, divine masculine? This is turning out to be a very interesting reading. It's great because I did not think this is how the direction of the reading was going to go, but it's what needed to come out right now. It's what needed to be heard, really, as always occurs. The cards are just divination tools for the intuition. Meditate and contemplate, new moon in Pisces. So some of you might feel like going within at this time. Some of you might feel like, the need to kind of retreat, hibernate. And that happens around, eclipse season. There's a major, retreat that will occur because you're shifting, you're changing. Funny, had you asked me a few years ago if I would be sitting here reading tarot cards, I would have said, I was interested in them, but I would have said no. So divine feminine, we have here on the bottom of the deck here is divine drunkenness, surrender to your spiritual reverie. So this is about you surrendering to that dream, the dream that you have of where this world is going, this new earth. And there's a gestation period. I see this as the womb. I see this as a gestation period that we're in right now. And the feminine energy is no doubt leading the way. That's why the masculines who are healing or healed are in full communication and contact and respect for the feminine energy, not just outside, but inside of themselves. That is why, if you look at Justin Tristau, I think it's Tristau, I believe, he is a divine masculine, and he is healed, he has done the work, and he teaches about the importance of connecting to the feminine energy and why he is in such high regard and respect for the feminine energy and the feminine power, because he knows this is what's going to heal the world. So he had to heal it inside of himself first. And he admits that he would pursue women in lust in the past. And he thought, and the sexual conquests, that men are taught, that this is what makes you a man. And it's just incorrect. And it's very toxic, the toxic masculinity. And he's really great to follow. I follow him over on Instagram. I really love his teachings. So yeah, divine feminine, you're being asked to really kind of root down, because I see a lot of red energy here, root down into just connecting to the earth right now, connecting to the spiritual truths. And what I see also happening is detaching more and more from the 3D. So you might feel very disconnected at this time. A lot of matrix glitches are occurring as well. A lot of matrix glitches. You might feel dizzy. You might feel, and I'll talk about this on the post over on Patreon when I write that, but you might feel like you're just, not able to connect, like just a disconnect from reality, a disconnect from the things that are going on around you or conversations that are being had. Like you just I can't follow. Okay, I cannot follow these conversations. You're just losing interest in the things you used to have interest in. And that might even be the foods that you liked. This can be very disconcerting because you lose interest in foods, you might lose interest in sex, you might lose interest in just hobbies and things that you used to really enjoy. You have to this is what I'm talking about, the death process, the decaying process. We have to let those parts of ourselves fall away without clinging to them. You can mourn them, there's a mourning process, but you have to release them and let them go so that the new can be born and the new can grow. And then for the masculines, we have the quest, plunge boldly into life. Look at that fire. So the Sagittarian new moon solar eclipse is lighting fire under the masculine's ass and in their feet, to move forward. And they're really feeling the call and the pull to find a way to really respect themselves and love themselves and honor themselves. This is about self-respect. It's about self-worth. It's about self-awareness. They've done some things that are not very kind. They've taken some actions, said some things that were really out of character for a divine masculine, but they were in distortion. They were in programs of narcissism and lust, power, greed, control, envy. They were in competition with the divine feminine, and they regret those things very deeply. They haven't found a way yet necessarily to tell the feminine. Some of them have, or to show her. She doesn't want to be told. She wants to be shown at this point. She's like, don't tell me, show me. You know, the words are empty at this point. Gone through many cycles of that with you. Words are empty. I need you to show me. So yeah, as the feminine, it's interesting. The feminine, very opposing energies here. The feminine is like nestled into her dream state. Dreams are vivid, as I've discussed mine. And with the celebrity masculines, you know, appearing like every night lately, it's like, which one's going to come next? And then the energy here of, for the masculine, just really taking that plunge of not knowing how the feminine's going to respond, not knowing what's going to happen when you quit that job, divine masculine, when you take that risk, when you let go of that karmic person or situation or energy, when you start to heal the addiction, you go into rehab, or you mend things with your ex-partner so you can mend things with your children. And I mean mend things, I'm talking about like have a healthy friendship or a healthy parenting partnership with the ex-partner so that the children can benefit. You know, it's funny, the masculines, some of them have said, oh, my children come first, and then have gone off and, you know, had these karmic relationships, and the feminine goes, well, how did the children come first? Children come first when you commit to yourself, when you heal yourself. That's how you put your children first. So the masculine's realizing these, you know, harsh truths, and really wanting to just like burn away the embers and the fire of the choices they've made in the past. So I feel like this is going to be a very symbolic and important eclipse for the masculines. So this has been your new moon solar eclipse in Sagittarius reading. This turned out to be really amazing, I feel. Amazing cards and energies. And I find that the less cards I pull, and the more just guidance and wisdom I'm able to give you guys. So I hope this has given you direction and guidance, and of course faith and support on your journey, which is always my intention. And just so you guys know, I know I still have this cough, but I am feeling better. For those of you who have asked or wished me well or sent loving thoughts and healing thoughts, I am feeling better. I just got this lingering cough, which is very common for me, which I hope to overcome one day, very soon. But I'm sending you guys a lot of love and support. I'll see you over on Patreon for the post this weekend, and I'll let you guys know when I post that on the community tab, and I'll mention it in my next video. And I hope to see you guys tomorrow for another reading. Take great care, guys, and happy eclipse.